So, oh, forget where the camera is. The Miata is tuned, and I had a couple people asking me who tuned it, even after watching the video. So, I'm just going to do a brief video about the tune and what ECU I'm running and how he tuned it and who tuned it, and just kind of go all the way over everything that has to do with how solid and drivable and just all around streetable my tune is, as well as pulling the most power out of it at the best reliability standpoint as well, if that makes sense. So we found a good balance, or he found a good balance between reliability, meaning not leaning it out too much, and getting all the power we could out of it, which leaning it out just enough and tuning it just right. So I'm going to go over everything as far as the car's engine and ECU setup, and talk to you a little bit about Daniel, who is the owner and operator of GarageLife, and they do a lot of tuning for RX-7s, FDs, FCs, anything really with a rotary. But he's an amazing tuner. He can tune anything. It's not really much of a difference from tuning a rotary to tuning a piston engine. It's all the same thing. It's just air fuel ratios, fuel maps, spark maps. It all goes together. So if you can do one, you can do the other. Daniel actually also builds rotary motors or engines at his shop. Does full rebuilds, does all kinds of stuff like that. So yeah, if you have a rotary car and need advice or need work done, definitely hit up Daniel at GarageLife. I didn't realize the glare was on my glasses the whole time, so that's gonna suck, but whatever. So yeah, we'll get to the car right now. Alright, so I realized I always have my stupid keys in the background. You can hear them as I'm walking up to whatever I'm doing, but Daniel finally gave me one of the GarageLife stickers, even though I've been going to him for a couple of years now, but I never asked for one. So it's not his fault, it's my fault. But okay, so we'll start with the engine and see what I had for Daniel to work with. I'm sure a lot of people already know what I'm running, but just to make the video a whole thing, it is a 1.8 95 Miata bottom end, which is the just BP 8. No, it's just the regular BP block. And then up top we have the BP 4W head, which is off a 99 or 2000 Miata. The coil unplugs are from Trackspeed Engineering, and the intake is the stock one for the 99 2000 intake manifold, and then I have the JDM header or exhaust manifold, whatever you want to call it. And the only difference between the JDM one and the USDM one is that it doesn't have an EGR port, which is good because I obviously have no EGR. It's got a catch can over there, which I just kept from the turbo install, figured why not. A dual core aluminum radiator, which is Zap. I don't know if they're still around. It was a Craigslist company back in the day. Garage start pulleys, Toda cam gears. What else? I know there's more I'm missing. Oh, it's got 99 2000 Miata pistons in it, which bumps up the compression a bit. We shaved, I think, 60 thousandths off the head, also bumping up the compression. As far as I remember, we're at 11 to 1 compression, I want to say, or 10.5. It's somewhere right there. Either way, it's pretty, gets up and goes pretty well for an NA car. What else? Gates timing, or no, Gates, timing belt, and then Gates water pump. ACL bearings, ARP head studs, ARP studs everywhere else. And that's it for the motor, or the engine. I keep calling it a motor. A motor is an electric thing. Engine is combustible, or internal combustible engine, so whatever. I'm trying to correct myself as much as I can. But I guess we'll go into the car. I'm looking a little less bummy today without my shants and my hat backwards and shit. So, here is the ECU that I bought on Daniel's recommendation. Don't know how well you can see it because I can't really see the screen. But it is a Adaptronic, I believe it's the 440 ECU or 420 ECU. I don't know. It's the Miata plug and play one. But Yeah, I'm sure as most of you know, if you watch my videos regularly, I used to have the Megasquirt ECU, which hundreds of people run with Miatas and various other cars. I know a couple people that have really nice, amazing drift cars with them, but I could just not get my car to communicate with that thing very well. Like, I just did not like it. So I not scrapped it, I sold it, bought the Adaptronic, and I literally got the Adaptronic in the mail, unboxed it, and I think it already had the base map loaded, but don't quote me on that, I'm not sure. But okay, let's just say I had to load the base map, plugged it in the car, started it, and it started first try, and it ran perfect on the base map, which I can never get it to do with Megasquirt like people say it does. But I've read horror stories about Megasquirt doing all kinds of stuff, so yeah. Definitely recommend the Adaptronic over Megasquirt, just in my personal opinion. Nothing against Megasquirt, it's just in my personal experience, it just didn't work for me in what I was doing. But it has worked for many, so I mean, like I said, don't take it to heart if you have a Megasquirt. It probably works just fine. It just didn't work for me. Alright, so I figured I'd show you guys how easy it starts up, and this is absolutely cold. The car has not been turned on yet. I'll show you the temp gauge. 0, or I don't know, probably ambient temperature, whatever it is outside. But also I wanted to talk about, like, as far as tuning goes, the process in which Daniel goes is he locks the timing in for you, and then make sure everything sounds good, it's running good. Like the first time I took it to him this roundabout, my car sounded like a Subaru, meaning it was misfiring all over the place and was just awful. So I narrowed it down to the coil packs, or one of them was dead or something, or was going out, or I don't know. The Miata coil packs, ooh, my voice cracked. The Miata coil packs are just awful. Anybody with a Miata that's had it for more than a couple thousand miles, I'm sure has replaced theirs. Or at least had like tack issues or something like that is signaling to it going out. Anyway, that's why I replaced it with the Trackspeed engineering kit, which also an amazing kit. It took about 45 minutes for me to wire it up, just because I get real nervous about chassis wiring. And it's, again, the Trackspeed engineering kit's awesome too. Started up first try. All I had to do was change the dwell settings in the Adaptronic, which in the Adaptronic, which is also amazing. It took about 30 seconds to change the dwell settings. It took me a minute to find where they were, but to actually change it takes about 30 seconds, and the car doesn't shut off like when you burn new stuff to the tune with Megasquirt, which sucks because you're sitting there trying to do stuff and your tuner's sitting next to you or on the dyno or whatever, and every time they burn something, the car wants to shut off, which with Megasquirt, that's just stupid. Like, why does it need to do that? I don't know. Maybe it was just mine that did that. I don't know. I don't think so though. But yeah, so I guess I'll show you guys how easy it starts up, and it starts up like this every time, and I'm sure it'll start up perfectly fine this time. Yeah. Again, 0 degrees or ambient temperature, whatever it is. Fuel pump primed. My starter sucks. So as you saw, it started up first try. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's just like I hear it all the time. Oh, my tuner said it does this sometimes, or it does that sometimes. No, your car should never do one thing or another if the tune is solid. It should always be the same exact thing unless something on the car changed. The tune will never change itself. And as long as it's a solid, reliable tune, it should start every time. And I mean, depending on, I don't know, at least for mine, in my experience, if it doesn't start the first time, it's probably not going to start the second time, as far as my build goes. I don't know about yours or anybody else's, but at least with mine, if it didn't start the first time, then it would either run bad the second time or just wouldn't start at all the second time. So that's what I'm basing it off of, my personal stuff. I don't know about everyone else's, because how could you know about millions and millions of other builds? But whatever. What else was I gonna say? Oh, the idle is kind of rough when I do start it when it's cold, but that's no issue with the tune. It's my fault because I don't have a coolant temp or water temp gauge wired to the ECU, so the ECU doesn't know where the ECU or where the coolant temp is, water temp, whatever. So with the way Adaptronic works, I'm gonna get out of the car, it's hot. The way Adaptronic works, and I'm sure most other standalones have the capability as well, is that it changes the map, not the map, or like the fuel enrichment, I think it's called, based on the temperature of the car, because obviously it needs more fuel when it's colder because it's taking more to have the car run. So I mean, my car stumbles a little bit starting it at first, and then it runs fine. But again, that's my issue. That's not anything wrong with the tune. So yeah, the car starts up amazing, runs and drives perfect. Can't thank Daniel enough. Like I said yesterday, I mean, he's very quick and very good at what he does. And I've been going to him for about, I don't know, 2 years now. Excuse me. And yeah, I hope to get some actual action videos soon. I know I keep saying that, but it's hard to get seat time with how busy I am and dealing with everything that's going on, but whatever. I'm not gonna mope about it in my videos, so everything's good. I know a couple people asked me about current situations that are going on, and I've explained it too many times now, so I was going to make a post talking about everything going on in my life, whatever, but we're good. So thanks again to Daniel. Really appreciate your tuning abilities and your giving me the time, or your time, to tune my car, and I'm sure I'll be back, because I'll be, I keep saying we, it's I will be putting a turbo, we'll be going back on, but with a different kit that we'll talk about later. And I'm sure, well, I'm positive I'll be going back to Daniel for that as well. So thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Also, I never say that, but people share my videos sometimes, which I really appreciate. Any views, comments, anything, any feedback, anything at all. Like I always say, tell me you love me, tell me you hate me, I love it either way. Thank you.